Hello everyone, welcome back. And today I just wanted to do a keep or sell for all the players that are in Barcelona's squad. And Barcelona has some planning to do for next season. So I was just going to go through basically each player in each position and talk about whether I think Barcelona should sell them or keep them this summer. So starting in goal is the first choice goalkeeper Ter Stegen. And of course, Barcelona are going to keep him in the summer. And I think that's the right idea. I think maybe we didn't appreciate him enough. And because of his absence, because of the injury that he had, I think we appreciated how much he helped Barcelona's defense last season. And his style of goalkeeping, it does have some pros and cons, but overall, I do think he's still one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And so I just don't see him leaving Barcelona anytime soon. And then moving on to Iñaki Peña, I think he did get a couple months to showcase his talent for Barcelona. And I just don't think it worked out completely in his favor. I think he did have a couple good performances in his first few games for Barcelona, but I think it kind of dried out after that. And to be honest, I don't think it's a bad thing to have him as a backup, and I doubt that he is sold by Barcelona in the summer. And even though maybe it showed that if Ter Stegen is injured again, I don't know if he has the quality to be Barcelona's first choice goalkeeper if Ter Stegen again has a long-term injury. And I think in the long run, in a couple of years, Barcelona will improve their goalkeeping situation, but I think right now it's pretty good as it is, so I don't see either of Ter Stegen or Iñaki Peña leaving in the summer, and so both of them for me are keeps. And then moving into the defense, at right back we have João Cancelo, who's obviously right now on loan at Barcelona, and I do hope that Barcelona have the ability to pay for him in the summer, and it's rumored to be around 20 to 30 million, and I think that price is fair for a player like João Cancelo. And I think he showcased his worth to the team for Barcelona on multiple occasions this season, so I do hope Barcelona has the ability to sign him in the summer, but if it is exceeding 30 million, I think that might be pushing it a little bit. I still think Cancelo is a great player, and so I do hope that they are able to keep him by signing him permanently in the summer. And then the other right back that I hope is on the team for Barcelona next season is Julian Araujo, who is currently on loan at Las Palmas. I don't know if that's exactly how to pronounce his first name, but I know it's Araujo, and I think he's having a great season with Las Palmas, so I hope Barcelona are able to bring him back in the summer and keep him for next season. And I think Barcelona having both Cancelo and Araujo in the right back position would be great because I think they both complement each other really well because Cancelo is great going forward but not the best defensively, and I think Araujo is great defensively but he's not the best going forward, and so I feel like that gives Barcelona a good balance in that position. And I hope Julian Araujo does get a chance at Barcelona. I hope they don't just look to sell him in the summer, but I don't feel like that's going to be the case because they did pay around 5 million for him, so I feel like they saw something in him and they're going to give him a chance. And again, I think he's had a pretty productive loan spell at Las Palmas, so I think the best idea for Barcelona is to keep him in the summer and give him a season to see how he does. And then moving on to the left back is Alejandro Balde, and of course he's going to be staying at Barcelona in the summer. He has a bright future at the club, and obviously his season got cut short because of that injury, but hopefully he's rested in the summer, and next season he's off to a good start. And then the backup left back is Marcos Alonso, who we have not seen at all this season because he's been injured, which is unfortunate for him, but either way, even if he was healthy, I don't think Barcelona could have counted on him anyways, and it's just best that he leaves in the summer. And I don't think Barcelona's going to get any transfer fee for him because he's going to be a free agent in the summer, but Barcelona just cannot renew his contract. And in my opinion, Balde needs some serious competition to go to his full potential because he's a guaranteed starter every single game. But I think with the addition of Hector Fort from La Masia, that's going to be a great thing for Alejandro Balde, and also for Hector Fort because he looks like a great left back and right back for Barcelona. So Balde, of course, he's a keep, and with Marcos Alonso, I hope Barcelona do not renew his contract in the summer, and Hector Fort, I hope he gets promoted and he's the backup left back for Barcelona next season. And looking at the outside back positions, if you have João Cancelo, Julian Araujo, Alejandro Balde, and Hector Fort, I think that's great cover on both sides of the flanks, and I think that's Barcelona's best bet in the summer. And then moving on to the center backs, just to start, is Ronald Araujo because I think he's the first choice center back at Barcelona, and rightfully so. And of course, he's going to be a key for Barcelona. I know there's been some rumors to Bayern, but I don't believe that for a second because I don't think Barcelona would ever really try and sell him. And no matter how bad the financial situation gets, you don't want to sell one of your captains and one of the young players on Barcelona that always gives everything in every single game he plays for Barcelona, and he is the future of Barcelona's back line. And the second player is Koundé, and I think some Barcelona fans have said that they wouldn't mind Barcelona selling him in the summer, and I think his market value would be around 50 million. But for me, I hope Koundé stays at Barcelona because I still think he's a great player. He hasn't had the best season, but a lot of Barcelona players haven't had the best season, so I don't think it's completely his fault. And ideally, Koundé would be playing as a center back, but because of Barcelona's injury problems and because Barcelona's defense has been pretty terrible this season, he slid to right back because of how good he was last season in that position. But he played as a center back at Sevilla. He has played right back for France, but still, I think his preferred position is a center back, and I think for his future at the club, I think he wants to be playing center back, and I think that's probably the right decision for the long-term future of Koundé at Barcelona. And he's definitely prone to a few mistakes, but I still think he is one of the better center backs in the world right now. And I just feel like given Barcelona's financial situation, they can't go out and improve that position because they don't have 50 million to spend. So I feel like Koundé is going to stay at Barcelona, and I think that's the right decision. And then another center back is Inigo Martinez, and of course he's going to stay at Barcelona. Barcelona, I think, signed him on a 2-year contract, and there's just no way that they're going to sell him in the summer when he has 1 year left on his contract, and he just joined last summer. And I think every time he's played, Inigo Martinez has been great for Barcelona, and he pushes forced Christensen to the bench because of how good he was playing. But obviously he got unlucky with injuries, and he's had a lot of injury problems in the last couple years of his career, and sadly that was the case for a lot of this season. But I still think he's a great center back, and I don't see him going anywhere in the summer, and I just feel like he's a great player when he's healthy, so I feel like Barcelona are definitely going to keep him in the summer. And then the other center back is Christensen, and I think a lot of people are talking about this, if Barcelona should sell him in the summer. And I do think he's one of the options on the transfer list for Barcelona, to be completely honest. I think with how good Cubarsí has done, and of course Barcelona are going to keep Cubarsí in the summer, I feel like Christensen would be the fifth choice center back for Barcelona next season when everyone is healthy. And so for me, I don't think Christensen's future at Barcelona is at the center back position. I think it's either as a defensive midfielder or he's playing for another club. And to me, that's how I see it. And he's one of those players that's not completely indispensable for Barcelona, but he also has some market value. So I do think Barcelona are going to listen to offers for him in the summer. And I wouldn't be surprised if Barcelona do sell him. But if he plays as a defensive midfielder for the rest of the season and he does well in that position, I think Barcelona should keep him. And even though Christensen really hasn't done that much wrong, I just feel like as a pure defender, he's not Barcelona's best defender, and I think he's the fifth choice right now. So if he's playing as a center back, I don't feel like Barcelona have that luxury to keep a fifth choice center back when he could go on the market for 20, 30 million. I just feel like Barcelona would look to sell him in the summer. So for me to keep or sell Christensen, I think it depends on what position he's playing for Barcelona. If he's staying as a center back, honestly, I would think Barcelona would sell him in the summer. But if he's playing as a defensive midfielder, then I think it's worth it to keep him. And then moving into the midfield, Oriol Romeo is Barcelona's only defensive midfielder, but I feel like given the season that he's had, it just hasn't worked at Barcelona. He hasn't fit into Barcelona's team, and I just think it's best for his career and for Barcelona if he leaves in the summer. I really don't see Barcelona getting much money, if any at all, from him, and I feel like the best case scenario is that he returns to Girona and Barcelona maybe look to sign Aleix Garcia, someone that they already want to sign, and maybe they can have some trade between those two players and maybe lower the price of Aleix Garcia. But for me, unless there's some crazy turnaround in the last couple months of this season, Oriol Romeo will be sold, and he won't be on Barcelona's team next season. And then moving into the midfield, Pedri, Gavi, and Gundogan, there's no way that they're going to be sold in the summer. Of course, they are staying at Barcelona. But for Frenkie de Jong, I don't think that's the case. I think some fans definitely want him sold, and Barcelona did try to sell him in the summer last year. I don't think they completely 100% wanted him gone, but they thought given the wages that he had and the market value that he had, they were definitely listening to offers last summer. And I do feel like they might be listening to offers this summer as well. And Deco recently did an interview and basically said that he doesn't want to lose anyone from Barcelona's core. And I would classify Frenkie de Jong as part of Barcelona's core. So I just feel like it's one of those difficult things that I hope Frenkie de Jong stays in the summer. But at the same time, given Barcelona's financial situation and the fact that they desperately need a defensive midfielder and to buy another attacker, I would understand Barcelona listening to offers. But again, I do hope Frenkie de Jong stays. I think he's one of the best players in the world in his position, and he's a really unique profile, and I don't think Barcelona can go out and spend 100 million and find someone better than him. And it's another one of those situations where it's unfortunate for Frenkie de Jong because he's one of the only players in the squad that has some market value, and I think Barcelona, given their financial situation, they would listen to offers in the summer. And to be honest, I would still be surprised if he leaves Barcelona in the summer. And again, I think it would weaken the team if he leaves. Of course, he's one of the best players in the world in that position, but again, if he leaves, I do still think Pedri, Gavi, Gundogan, and a defensive midfielder, it would still work for Barcelona, even if Frenkie de Jong is not there. He would still be a big miss because individually, I think he's one of the best players on the team, and he's just really enjoyable to watch. So, of course, it would be a big miss if Barcelona do sell him in the summer. But again, I understand Barcelona listening to offers for him. And then another midfielder is Sergio Roberto, and I talked about it in my last video. It does seem likely that he's going to leave in the summer, and I think that's the right idea. Barcelona aren't going to sell him because his contract is expiring, but I just don't think Barcelona should renew him. And he is Barcelona's captain, and I'm sure he's a great player to have in the dressing room, but I just think there are better players in that position, and especially with Hector Fort and Julian Araujo coming back from loan, I don't think he's going to get any time at right back either. So I just feel like he doesn't really have a place in the team, and he deserves to be playing. So I feel like he should go sign for another team and play every single week. And Fermin Lopez is another player that I know Barcelona are going to keep in the summer because he's from La Masia. It doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. I feel like he's gotten a couple chances this season, and he's performed well, but I don't feel like Barcelona have gotten the best out of him yet. So I feel like next season, he's going to get a little bit more minutes, and I definitely feel like he's going to be staying at Barcelona in the summer. And then moving on to the attackers, of course, Lamine Yamal and Vitor Roque, they are guarantees, and of course, Barcelona are going to keep them in the summer. But I'll start with Rafinha, and there have been rumors that Tottenham have offered 70 million for him, and I think he's a great player for Barcelona, and I would like him to stay in the team, but is it worth 70 million to keep him in the team when I think Lamine Yamal is better than him? I don't know. That's a difficult question, and I feel like Barcelona are definitely going to be listening to offers in the summer. And Rafinha puts up great numbers, and he puts in a lot of effort every single time he plays for Barcelona. And of course, if you sell him, you would have to buy a replacement because you can't just rely on a 16-year-old Lamine Yamal to play every single minute for Barcelona next season. But for me, again, even though I like Rafinha, I think I would take that 70 million, and I would spend it on Nico Williams, or I would spend it on Esteval. I would spend it on another player. I just think 70 million for Rafinha, it's a really good deal for Barcelona given the financial situation that they're in right now. And honestly, thinking about in August, when it's the beginning of the season, season, and if Rafinha is still in the team and Barcelona rejected a 70 million offer, I feel like I would maybe be asking questions about the board, because even though I like Rafinha again and he puts up great numbers for Barcelona, 70 million is a big number. And then moving on to Fran Torres, I don't think Barcelona are going to get that many offers for him in the summer, and I feel like it's more than likely that he is going to stay at Barcelona. And I feel like he's done good for the past couple months, and so I do think he's a good squad player to have for Barcelona, and so I feel like he's going to stay at Barcelona. And I don't think he's a player that Barcelona are going to receive 50 million plus offers on. I just don't think there's really any chance that Barcelona get those type of offers. So I feel like it's more than likely that he's going to stay at Barcelona. And I don't think, again, he's a bad player to have in the squad. I don't know if he's going to be starting every single week if Barcelona do buy some better attackers in the summer. But again, he's still a good player to have on the team. And then up next is Lewandowski, and I feel like that's a player that Barcelona have to sell in the summer. And again, I think in the last couple weeks he's gotten onto better form since Vitor Roque has arrived. But again, it's a player that you're paying 20 million for. And a lot of the season this year, he's been seen as a liability. No offense to Lewandowski, I just think it's probably time for Barcelona to let him go. And I think he's one of those players that expects to start every single game. And I just feel like the current form of Lewandowski, it doesn't warrant that. And again, 20 million a year, I just feel like I would much rather trust in Marquinhos and Vitor Roque and Fran Torres in that position. And he's 35, 36 now. I just think 2 seasons at Barcelona was the right amount, and I feel like 3 years is going to be pushing it. And I think it's going to be pretty frustrating to watch for a lot of fans if he does stay at Barcelona next season. He's one of those players that I do want Barcelona to sell, and I think they need to move on. If they want to improve their squad, I think they need to sell him in the summer. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if Barcelona do keep him. I still think he can give something to Barcelona for the rest of the season, but I just think going into next year, you're always wanting to improve your squad, and I just feel like it would be an improvement if he's sold and you use that money elsewhere. And the last player is Javi Felix, and even though he really wants to stay at Barcelona, and he has put up some really good performances for Barcelona, I just don't think it's been consistent enough. And right now, in the current state that Barcelona are in, I don't think they can splash 40 million on a player that's not going to be there every single week. And he's a great player. He has moments of brilliance, but I just don't think it's consistent enough for Barcelona to invest so much money into a position that Barcelona don't really need. I feel like they could sign someone like Nico Williams would be 50 million, and I feel like that's around the same price that they would be paying for Javi Felix. So I don't know. I would be asking serious questions if Barcelona's board does go spend 40, 50 million on him in the summer. Maybe if they get a really good deal from him because Atletico just wants to offload him from their team, or maybe if they get him on a loan, I would understand him playing for Barcelona next season. But if Barcelona spend around 40 million on him, again, I got to be asking serious questions about the board. But anyways, we've seen how this season has gone, and Barcelona do have some work to do in the summer, and they just cannot continue to keep the same exact squad and expect different results. There have to be changes in the summer. Some players are going to have to leave. I would say 5 to 8 players should be leaving Barcelona in the summer, and a couple should be joining. That's how I think Barcelona should be lining up in the summer. And even though I like the players, guys like Rafinha, Javi Felix, Lewandowski, Christensen, I wouldn't be too mad if they're leaving in the summer. I really wouldn't if Barcelona get a good fee for them. Overall, you just have to think about the long-term future of the club, and I would much rather Barcelona invest that money that they're paying them or that they're missing out on if they reject those offers like 70 million for Rafinha. I just feel like they could be using that money elsewhere and investing in brighter players for the future of the club.